How's it going, everyone? I'm Dustin. I want to talk real quick, real brief about the real cost about getting into rabbits. Okay? The real cost. Now, what do I mean by the real cost, right? Because, of course, everyone does price breakdowns online. So when you look across YouTube and across the internet about the cost of rabbits or the cost of getting into rabbits, you are going to find a well thought out, planned out price breakdown about, well, meat rabbits specifically, but about the cost per pound of meat based off of the babies. That has nothing to do with these new guys. Okay, these guys right here, nothing to do with them. Nothing to do with the cost of the hutches themselves or feed or any of that about when you start up. When you start up, that's the key here, okay? Rabbit startup. Now, why am I focused on startup? Well, I've wanted to get into rabbits for a long time, and I've tried to break down the price or how much it was going to cost me to start into it many times, okay? But no one's really showing on the internet what it costs for you to get into rabbits, buy the rabbits, so on and so forth. So I'm going to do a quick price breakdown of what it costs me in Ohio. It might be a little different for wherever you're at, but you still need to know this stuff, okay? Now, first and foremost are the rabbits themselves. Nobody talks about the price of rabbits when you go to buy them. These are checkered whites. Actually, I think they're New Zealand checkered mixes, checkered giants. These are checkered giants. Actually, they're New Zealand checkered giant mixes, to my understanding. And I luckily got these off a guy who was getting out of rabbits. Okay, he bought these for his family. He was getting into raising them, decided to raise quail instead. So luckily, I picked them up cheap, very cheap. When I say cheap, I'm talking like $10 a rabbit. That's cheap. We'll get into that more. This little girl over here on this side of the hutch, she is a silver martin. I can tell you right now, if you go to the store somewhere like Rural King or anywhere like that that's selling silver martins, you can expect to pay around 35 bucks a piece, and that's the average on the market. Honestly, 35 bucks is right around what you're going to pay for a silver martin. They're beautiful rabbits. They stay much smaller, but they are beautiful. Now I'm going to come over here to our little albino guys. Now these ones also came from Rural King. Actually, these are the only ones I bought from Rural King, and they go for about 18 bucks a piece. And again, that's the market average from our area. I've checked other Rural Kings, about 18 bucks a piece for these little guys. These are the little albino ones. Going on the other rabbits that we've called around about, I really wanted like California whites or New Zealand's, and they were about 35 to 50 bucks a piece. That's for not pedigreed rabbits. My mom also is getting into rabbits around the same time. She bought a pedigreed rabbit. And kind of is a joke, guys. The pedigreeing. We grew up breeding and raising high-end dogs, and the pedigree progress for that is like highly documented, and you have to register the next dog and so on and so forth, and you have to keep track of the parents and all sorts of craziness. Okay, for rabbits, she got a piece of paper. It was all handwritten out, and she said, "What do I do to, when this one has babies?" And they were like, "Print off another piece and just fill it in," right? I mean, like, I get trying to keep track of stuff, but like, I could totally fake that, right? Like, I could totally just print off paper and say that I've owned like 5 generations of that rabbit. So it's kind of dumb. Okay, there's no like set in stone, like anywhere where it says that this is pedigreed and you can't change it. It's just word of mouth of saying this is a good rabbit, and I keep track of it. But nothing actually says anything other than handwritten paper. And I'm not joking. So that's what you can expect to spend. Around 18 for rabbits from a store that are just albino, maybe something or another's. If you want to get, purebred, like we're doing meat rabbits, so if I wanted to get something like California whites or New Zealand's or anything like that, I can expect to spend around 35 to 50 bucks a rabbit. So expect up front to spend $100, $150 on rabbits alone. The next thing I should probably talk about quick is hutches. This down here is a hutch that I just made, but I gave him somewhere to go off to the side, with bedding in it, somewhere to tuck into. Needs to have a latch. They need water, all of that. But the hutches themselves, I'm making my own hutches. But if you're gonna buy them. I think my mom spent 30 to 40 bucks a hutch, and hers are crap quality, honestly. Welds breaking, they're just really not built up well. So I wouldn't go that route. And if I just came from Rural King. Tell you right now, their rabbit hutches, for a hutch, like an outdoor hutch, you're gonna be spending 100 bucks. 75, 100 bucks for a little hutch that's crap quality. And if you want a good one with trays and everything, like 150, 200 bucks per hutch. Each rabbit really should be in its own hutch. I have these two together because they're young and they've been together since they were young. And those checkers I have over there were all together since they were young, so I keep them. That's called raising them like colonial, or in colonies. The issue is if one gets sick, they wipe out that whole colony, so you really shouldn't do that. But hutches are expensive. You can get indoor cages. You can buy cages from like Tractor Supply. They're still going to run you like 40, 50 bucks a piece. So if you get, a couple rabbits, you're going to be 150 bucks into cages. Really, for a breeding pair, for you to be breeding for resale, pets, whatever, you need 3 rabbits, 2 does and a male. You can get away with 1 doe and a male, like this pair right here. You just can't breed constantly like having 2 does and a male. So you're going to have 150 bucks in the cages. So you're $300 in. Now, like I said, I just built that hutch, and I'm actually building a couple more hutches inside the garage. So for right now, there's actually a male down in this pet carrier. I split this in half with a piece of wood through here, the center. So you could have one up top, one below, just so I could get them home, and that way they had somewhere to live while I finished the hutches. This cool hutch here, if I back up, this came from a local kid down the road who built this. Or I think he said his sister built it for a school project. It's nice because it has the breeding boxes on the end, and plenty of room for food, water, and a couple rabbits in here. But again, you're going to spend a lot of money right now on lumber to build these. So keep that in mind. This is working for now. I plan on replacing it. I can open this end. I can open the other end up. But, and this is split. So I have the 3 over here, and that 1 female's over here. I can tell you right now, going on Marketplace around my area, again, you're going to be spending 75 bucks for a hutch or more. That's just the market value. That hutch that I built over there, I used pallet wood for the sleeping end, or whatever you want to call it, the get out of weather end. I used pallet wood for that, so that's all recycling. I still had 15 bucks in lumber. Lumber's expensive right now, guys. I'm paying like $3.50, $4 per like 2x2 board, which made the frame on that, and I think I used like 4 or 5 of them, plus the caging itself, the fencing. I have one in there right now. I'm making a little thinner than that to see if it'll work out, but I'm still gonna have like 10-15 bucks into a cage. I need 7 cages, so adds up quick. That's already 70, 100 bucks or more depending how I build them. So yeah, again, expect to spend some money on cages. One thing that a lot of people don't talk about is you're going to need a decent pet carrier. When I went to pick up the rabbits the other day, pick up the ones I bought from that guy's getting out of it, I took this, and that's why I put the wood in there to split it. So I had somewhere to put the rabbits, keep them, and get going with them. Get them back home and get them in this hutch. But something like this, which has a top opening, which I recommend the top opening because getting rabbits into this front door kind of sucks. It's going to run you like 42 bucks. I'll put a link to that Amazon in the comments, okay? I have the link for that, so I'll put the link onto that. The next thing you're going to need is water bottles for your rabbits. These are like 10 bucks a piece. They add up very fast. I can tell you right now, if you lose the wire off it, and these wires, you can't buy them online. I started producing them, so if you want wires, I will put them somewhere on a website or something, and I'll put that link below as well, just so you have spare wires, because I can tell you right now, you drop one of them wires on the ground, it's gone. You no longer can use the bottle. You can't buy the wires online. It kind of sucks. And I only made them originally because I dropped a couple wires somewhere. Don't know where they are, so I'm going to produce those. They'll be in the comments below. Check those out. Now, I'm not going to say you need to build a little shed, but I had to build a little shed. You need somewhere dry to keep your hay and your other feeds, which is what we're going to talk about next, is feeds, okay? You look in here right now, you see color-coded buckets down through here. There's empty ones over here and another full one there. And there's a bunch of hay over here. Don't buy hay from the farm store, okay? You're gonna be spending way too much. Like you're gonna spend $7 for a little bitty bag of hay. I spend $7 a bale by getting a hold of a local farmer. Make sure you get second cut. That's gonna have more alfalfas in it. But you need somewhere to be able to store that. My mom went and got some bins, like the storage bins. I think she said it took 2 bins to put a whole bale of hay in, which she just keeps out underneath the rabbit cage. So that's her way to do it. I threw up a shed. I got to finish this shed up quick. Buckets are the next thing you're probably going to want. In these buckets right now, we also have ducks. So I have white buckets for duck food. Empty ones over there. I need to go buy duck feed because I'm almost out. This one is the feed that I got with those rabbits that we picked up off the guy. I'm slowly mixing it with the normal rabbit feed that I buy, but I gotta get that gone through. And then over here we just have a way to dry store all of your feeds. Okay, you gotta keep them dry. If they start to get wet, they're gonna mold, they're gonna start to ferment, and then when your animals eat fermenting anything, it's going to cause bloat, and it's gonna ultimately fill their stomach with gas and kill them. So don't do that. Same thing with your hay. It needs to be somewhere that's completely dry, because if it starts to ferment or if it starts to rot or break down, it can hurt your animals, okay? So you're gonna need something like that. Feed, such as this bag of feed right here. That's gonna run you $22 a bag-ish. $20 to $22 for a bag. It'll last you a while, especially because you really should be feeding them more hay, or more hay than feed. But it's still going to cost you. These alfalfa pellets, you don't really need them. We picked them up because they are convenient. So you can pick those up, and then $22, $25 a bag. And then you're going to need some sort of wood chips, straw, or something like that to make bedding with. Or put in their bedding boxes, something that they can get into that's going to soak up anything that, any waste they let go in there. So open this up. You can see the bedding on this end, and yeah, they do poop in it and stuff. Clean that out every once in a while. But I do also have a tray underneath here. I'm just using a tray from Dollar Tree. I think it's supposed to be for dishes or something like that. It's a nice tray that goes under and collects everything as it drops out. So now you're up to what? $150 in rabbits, $150 in cages if you go with all cages, or I guess you could build your own, so now you're only at $200 with cages. Another $20, $30 in food if you buy, a bag of feed and a bale of hay, which will last you a while. Make sure you have somewhere to store the hay, so you're gonna have to buy something for that. Make sure you have somewhere to store the food, or somewhere dry to keep it safe. So you're gonna need something with that. You're gonna probably want a carrier if you're gonna be buying or transporting rabbits. That's $40. You're starting to see what I'm talking about, guys. Everyone wants to talk about, well, meat rabbits, you only pay $2 a pound for meat, or whatever it comes out to for them. But there's all these costs with startup. So what I recommend, absolutely get into rabbits. I've loved getting into rabbits. I love that I can, most of these guys I can go pick up. I can hold. We let them out and run in the dog area. But you're still going to have this cost. You're going to have $10 per bottle of water, or per water bottle. You're going to have, $20 for a bag of feed. These are costs that you really can't get away from unless somebody gifts it to you. And I'm serious here, okay? Now, I will say, if you go into Facebook to your local rabbit pages, like my Ohio rabbit page, every once in a while you can find somebody giving away free rabbits or very, very discounted rabbits. Be careful with that. You don't know the condition of the rabbits before that. Absolutely do it if you want to get into rabbits, but just be cautious, okay? You don't want to bring sick rabbits or whatever around your rabbits, or around your dog or whoever. So keep that in mind. But again, you got to start somewhere. I am going to say absolutely go spend $18 a rabbit instead of $40 a rabbit if you want to get into it. But you got to start somewhere. So save up some cash, get into rabbits, have fun. I will say one thing. You can do it cheaper if you want to do a colony of rabbits. Okay, and then you can go with like an old dog pen or something like that to make a dog, or to make a colony. Just keep in mind there is risk with that. A lot of rabbits are territorial, so you really want those rabbits to be together from when they're young, or to make sure that they're not going to fight. You might lose a rabbit, you might lose 2 rabbits. Just keep that in mind. And if a rabbit does get sick, it's all or nothing, really. I mean, you can try to get them out of there, but there's that risk that everyone else is going to get sick. So I don't know if colonies are my biggest go-to, but I understand it, okay? I really like this bigger cage where I can keep the 3 rabbits on the other side. But as you know, as rabbits start getting pregnant, like the silver martin on this side, they need to be in there so that they have that nest box and some room and things like that. This is just the way I did it. There's 100 other ways to do it. Everyone's going to give you different information across the internet. This is just what I'm doing right now. So do it. Get into rabbits. I put it off for a long time, and I'm happy that I finally did it. There's no real downfall with it. They don't eat a lot. They don't do a lot. Once they get older and their stomachs can handle it, you can give them salad scraps and other scraps from your kitchen, which is nice. So yeah, do it, but just remember that you have to have an upfront cost, and no one's talking about that. And I would say a minimum of $18 a rabbit. And if you can get them for free, get them. And I'd say minimum $15 to $20 a hutch. And if you buy it from the store, you're going to have more into hutches. So, oh, last thing before I go, think about where you want the rabbits. Because I originally planned to clean out this metal shed back here and have all my hutches in there. That was the plan. Then I really wanted to put them back there in the barn. But we're coming into winter. I don't have water back there at the barn. Still got to run that. And I just built that shed on the other side for all the feeds. So I got thinking to do, guys. Because now my feeds are up there, and of course I can put them in the metal shed or put them in the barn, but then I have to figure out, why did I build that shed? So think about that. Think about where you want them, because you know, my hose is up here at the house, and running water back to the barn can be done. But again, I'm spending, oh God, I priced it one day, $150 on hoses to get the water back there. So think about that, okay? Get out there and try this. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know what you guys are doing differently, so that way I can try new things, because I'm just getting into this. And most importantly, get out there, have fun with these hobbies, build your little homestead, and have a good day.